It happened to me, and it's not okay. Sharing stories of sexual violence. Compiled by Candice Waddell Henowich. Art by Marissa Mayhew. Produced in conjunction with the Office of Research Services. Voices. 10 interviews with individuals that experienced sexual violence in post-secondary education were used to create the narrative within this graphic novella. The graphic novella uses composite narrative to take the original 10 stories from these individuals and compile them into one story with 4 different voices. The voices are compiled in a way that the original stories are anonymized, so the characters that are represented within this graphic novella are not representative of any of the original participants. In the story, there are 4 characters talking about their own personal experiences of sexual violence to the 5th character, who has just experienced some form of unwanted sexual activity. Overall, the 5 characters in this graphic novella could be anyone, but the stories they are sharing are the experiences of people with a history of sexual violence. 1 in 4 students who identify as women, transgender, and non-binary have experienced some form of sexual violence in post-secondary education. This statistic falls short. Only 1 in 20 report.
Stop! Hey, leave that girl alone.
Come with us. Come with us.
I was in my second year of college, and he was my boyfriend.
We went out to the bar together.
He stayed over. I remember the double bed in my tiny little room in my tiny little house.
I woke up, and he was having sex with me.
I told him, "No, you're hurting me." And he didn't stop. When it was done, I kept saying, "Get over. Move over. You're in my bed. You're squishing me against the fucking wall."
I didn't want to be around him. I didn't want to be touched. I don't understand how that happened. All I could do was freeze because I was in such shock.
I was like, that didn't happen, and I went back to sleep. It took me months to figure out what happened.
He got me on the bed, and he pinned me down like I had never experienced before. He started taking my clothes off. I started screaming. He got my pants off, but not my underwear. A lady came in from the living room, flicked on the light, and said, "Hey, leave that girl alone."
I had no control. In other instances, I had a modicum of control, and it wasn't egregious. But this time, I had no control.
What just happened? Was it my fault?
There's a lot of bad teachings out there. I've been on the receiving end of some of that bad teaching. One of the things that sticks out to me is the belief that once you start, it's almost impossible for a man to stop, which is absolutely false. It puts the blame on the victim when the man is responsible for his actions. A man can absolutely stop.
Just because he didn't grab you out of the alley and throw you down on the ground doesn't mean it wasn't rape. I remember thinking, when I was younger, if he had gotten me in the street, then nobody would have questioned it.
There is always that second guessing. Like, you shouldn't have dressed that way. You shouldn't have trusted him.
Well, how do I know I'm not supposed to trust the guy? They don't wear labels. You don't know ahead of time that you can't trust this guy. Because you do trust him. You like this person. They've been good to you this far.
It's not always that black and white.
You do have the right to end a relationship if someone is not respecting you. And you do have the right to put boundaries on yourself in terms of what kind of sexual activity you're okay with. I think that is something a lot of young people don't quite understand.
It can be a very empowering thing to decide for yourself what you think is right or wrong, and what you are okay with and not okay with.
In the back of my mind, I always think that because other people would have had things worse, that my experience doesn't count.
Should I tell anyone?
I didn't go ahead with a report because I know the system isn't on the side of women.
For a while, I did consider having a report filed with his name, but not press charges, in case there were other victims. But I decided not to do that. I really wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt that he did not realize how badly he had hurt me.
Talking about it just wasn't going to happen because I didn't feel safe for whatever reason. There were a couple times I tried to, and people would flat out say, "Well, with the way that you act, I don't know whether I can believe you or not." I became worried that no one would believe me. It is human nature to compare your experiences to others, so to say, maybe someone else had it worse, meant that my experience wasn't so bad.
I tried to talk to my mom about it because I went into a pretty dark hole afterwards. My mom just said, "Well, you shouldn't have been drinking." So that was the end of that. If it would have happened in a back alley, my mom would have believed me and helped me. But because of the choices that I made, which put myself in a vulnerable situation, she didn't.
Which is so fucked up.
In theory, I should be able to walk around naked and still be safe.
What do I do?
Talk to someone. Just tell one person you trust. You will feel better.
Get help now. The sooner you start talking about it, the sooner you start processing what happened, and the more helpful it can be. If you don't get help, you will lose those years and you can't get that time back. Talking to somebody makes you feel like there's not something so wrong with you after all.
Be in charge. I think that there's a fear that when you tell someone, that other person will want to do something about it.
Like, I don't need your advice, and I don't need pressure to do something or not to do something.
It's not somebody else's recovery. It is going to look different for everyone.
It's good to remember that the feelings associated with the sexual assault do get better, or at least lessen.
In the same way, when you lose someone really close to you and you miss them, so you hurt and grieve for them a lot in the beginning, but eventually that sort of gets staggered and eases over time. You won't be thinking about them every day.
Let me help carry you.
Let your friends carry you.
You're worth it. This project would not have been possible without the participants of this research study: Alex, Brittany, Danica, Darlene, Dawn, Ellen, Grace, Jessica, Joy, and Zara. Even if those that read this story will never know your identity, your story will be known forevermore in the pages of this graphic novella. Design and consultation team included Anna Ervolino, Jessica Laxdal, Marissa Mayhew, Chris Romaniuk, Kurt Schultz, Ashley Taryn, Lyndon Haubrick, Candace Waddell-Henowich. Thank you to Brandon University Students Union, and the Sexuality Education Resource Centre of Manitoba. References can be found at people.brandonu.ca/WaddellC.